So today we're going to take a look at creating a character in basic Dungeons and Dragons. This is the old cover. I used to own this book as a printed book. Crikey, I think I threw it away about 15 years ago, so this is an old game, as you can tell. Now, character creation instructions start on page 5, so let's jump forward. What I like here is they show you a handwritten character sheet, and this is basically what I'm going to be doing for you now. So first of all, I'm going to pick a name. So I'll choose Gilathran. How that? Because I want to do an elf. Gilathran. Class, well, they've got a fighter here, but I'm going to choose an elf. It can be better actually to choose your character class after you've rolled your statistics, because you get XP bonuses for certain statistics based on what class you are, but basically I want to jump straight in with an elf. So here at step 2 it says roll 3d6 for each of your statistics. Well, they're all listed down here, so I'm going to start with strength, which is STR, 10, intelligence, 13. It's already the best D&D character I've ever had. 9 for wisdom, not the most wise. And that's 6, 7, 8 for dexterity, out of a possible 18. Oh, throw the dice away. There we go, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for constitution. Now let's see how charismatic my character is. 10, 11, so fairly average, the best being intelligence, which is actually very good for an elf. So what's next? Read up on character abilities. Well, I'll get to that later. Write down any special abilities. Yeah, well, we won't bother with that. Read the section on ability score adjustments. Okay, so I'm going to roll forwards to that page, which I think, here we go. I knew there were some tables somewhere. So, prime requisites. Let's take a look at the prime requisite for an elf. Where is that? It's not here, a bit further on. Dwarves, elves. Here we are, down here. An elf's strength is 13 or greater, and his or her intelligence is 16 or greater. That character will earn a 10% bonus. Well, I don't meet either of those, so I'm not going to be getting that bonus. But let's go back to these tables and check each of my stats. So, strength. I have a 10 for strength, which on this table is no adjustment. Intelligence, I've got 13. I can read native languages and 1 language. So I'll just make a note of that, plus 1 language. Might be handy to speak dwarf or human, I suppose. Next, wisdom. I have a wisdom of 9. No change there. Dexterity, I have an 8. Ooh, -1 to hit. So -1 to hit. That means he's not going to be that great in combat. He's suffering a penalty. But I do get, oh dear, +1 on my armor class. Armor class basically dictates how hard it is for other people to hit you. And that means it's going to be a little bit easier for enemies to hit me. And additionally, I'm going to be useless at trying to hit them with a bow and arrow, because this is a missile fire adjustment. Constitution, I have a 10. 10, no adjustment. Charisma, I have an 11. No adjustment there. Okay, so let's go back to generating character instructions. Ability score adjustments. Consult the table of bonuses and penalties, which we've just done. Says set aside a section for experience points or XP. When I've done that, determine the number of hit points your character has by rolling the appropriate type of die as mentioned in the class description. So that's step 8. So let's go back and look for the description of elves, which is way down here somewhere. Here we go, somewhere in here. Elves use 6-sided dice to determine their hit points. Well, this is a new character. That means he only gets to roll 1 die, which scores a reasonable 5. So it takes 5 points of damage before this character bites the dust. Okay, so back up here, see what the next step in character creation is. Choose an alignment, which is described on page 11. Now, alignment in basic Dungeons and Dragons, there's only 3 types, which I think there's a graphic for. Yeah, here we go. This graphic shows you the different alignments. You've basically got a lawful chap, this is guy on the left, who's stopping the chaotic chap, this guy in the middle, from killing their prisoner, and a neutral character who doesn't care what they do either way with the prisoner. So I'm going to go for neutral, I think. I've never fancied being chaotic. Neutral. Okay, so back up here again. Backwards and forwards across these pages. Roll 3d6, multiply by 10, and that gives you how much gold you'll start with. This is very important because this determines what equipment your character has to start with as well. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 90 gold to start with. Okay, so now I'm going to go get some equipment because armor and shields, etc., affect what your armor class is, how difficult you are to hit. So if I zip forwards again, look at the equipment list, which is in here somewhere. There we go. So if I buy chainmail armor, that'll be 40 gold. For chainmail, let me write that down. How much is a sword? I'll go for swords. Normal sword, 10 gold, so that's 10 gold for a sword. And a shield, another 10 gold. Okay, that'll do for a starting character. He probably won't live through the first combat anyway because he's not too good at that sort of thing. But as you can see down here, there's armor classes here. Based on what you're carrying or using to defend yourself will affect what your final armor class is. So I'm wearing chainmail and a shield. Chainmail, armor and a shield, which means I have an armor class of 4. But because of my low dexterity, I get +1 to my armor class, which means I'm actually armor class 5. So I'm going to write that down. Still better than an unarmored human, but not really that great. I think that's about it. Let me just shoot back up to the top. Don't think there's anything significant after that. There you go. You can go look at the attack table and work out what you need to hit various armor classes, but don't need to do that here. That's something the GM would probably look up for you anyway. Name your character. Well, I've already done that. I think we're done. And that's how you create a basic Dungeons and Dragons character. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm back. I missed a bit. Sorry. Here we go. We got saving throws down here. This is important. If your character gets zapped by a spell, you have a chance to save against the effects of it. So I'm going to jump forward to the page where they're listed. It's page 26 in this case. And over here, you can see the various saving throws for the different character classes. So as an elf, let's highlight the right row. Oh, it's not going to let me highlight the row, but there we go. So for poison or death ray, I have a 12 and a 13 for magic wands. For paralysis, a 13. And this is rolled on a 20-sided dice. 15 for dragon breath and 15 for rods and spells, etc. So if somebody hit my character with a sleep spell, for instance, I'd roll a 20-sided die and have to score 15 or more in order for the effects to be shrugged off. And that's the end of creating a character in Dungeons and Dragons.